Who knows what Helen Keller would have done with the technology that we have today?
Can deafblind individuals find work after education?
Located on the North Shore of Long Island stands the Helen Keller National Center for Deafblind Adults.
The mission of the Helen Keller National Center for the Deafblind Youths and Adults is to enable each person who is deafblind to live and work in his or her community of choice.
Our history goes back to the days of the Industrial Home for the Blind. And back in the 1920s, two deafblind men went down to the IHB in Brooklyn and they tried to get a job in the shops. And in those days, blind people worked in shops where they made mops and brooms and things like that. That was the vocational goal for anyone who was blind. And there was a gentleman who managed the shops down there by the name of Peter Salmon. He was the business manager, who had been a schoolmate of Helen Keller's up at Perkins, and he had learned the manual alphabet. So he taught the manual alphabet to the foreman at the shop. He was then able to hire the two brothers who started, and out of that effort, by the 1940s, they had developed a deafblind unit in Brooklyn that was composed of about 12 to 15 deafblind men who all worked in the shops. The government then started looking at this and they said, geez, is there a potential for people who are deafblind to do other things if they were given the proper training? So they gave the IHB a 5-year pilot grant back in the 1960s to see if deafblind people were capable of doing other jobs. And out of that came the Helen Keller National Center. We opened up here in 1969.
What gives people the ability to get a job is, of course, their qualifications, their attitude, but very critical also is their social skills. And a lot of time when people are considering job placement, whether it's a person who's a disability or deaf-blind or whatever, you have to look at that particular person's skills. And you can realize that people can succeed within those systems.
Because from my experience, the skills are really going to help me with my life, to the training, especially for work and things like that. So it's really great.
My self-esteem has really improved while I'm here. The quality of my life has improved. My attitude has gone from negative to positive while I've been here because of the encouragement.
So when I came here, I didn't want to leave. So I decided that if it was at all possible, I would come back and get the training that I needed because I couldn't do what I did before. I wasn't talented in computers, anything but nursing. And at that time, nursing didn't worry about computers. We worried about people.
My goal was to be a computer programmer, but during my freshman year, I noticed some problems with my vision. My vision began to deteriorate quickly, and I had trouble handling that pressure. I feel that I'm behind the times with a lot of the new technology we have here, especially for Braille devices, and I'm really excited about learning those things. I enjoy emailing my friends. That's important for me, too, and that's another reason I need to learn Braille.
I'm the technology developer, and I do training and development. That's my profession here. I'm responsible for training students to use different equipment, to be able to access different equipment. Okay, I want to show you Windows, what's a Braille display right here. And on the computer, I want to show you how I can connect the Braille display to Windows Eyes, which is a program that's on the computer.
Out, menu closed. Outlook Express mentioned. Yes, why? Button. Type. Would you like to make it your default mail client? No M. Outlook. Edit box. Password key. Dialog. Please. Standard box. Dialog. Configuring Outlook. Migrating account settings.
When I'm traveling out in the community, it connects with the satellite. And it will send all the information in Braille to my Braille note. It lets me know where I'm standing, and it tells me the exact position, where cross streets are. It also lets me know what's around, like restaurants and other businesses that are around. So I can identify specific restaurants, stores, other locations, and go there.
And I said, Helen Keller National Center, that deals with deaf-blind people. And I called them up, and I made an appointment, and came up here and fell in love. You know, you're going to meet a lot of people in your lifetime, but it's going to be rare that you're going to meet a group like this.
One of the biggest problems we have in developing services is that it's an expensive population to serve. And that's the reality of the situation.
Like so many other families, the Hooker family had given everything they had to give and still needed more.
I can generate a lot of stress just worrying about our family's day-to-day existence, trying to figure out everything from where Sophie's misplaced her shoes to the bigger issues of how we're going to pay for their education. And it's an everyday repeating battle.
Helen Keller said once that before she learned language, she always felt like this big piano was going to fall on her, like that tense of anxiety, not knowing what was going to happen next. I really hope the girls don't feel that way.
I don't know where we go from here because, you know, I spent the last week pretty much making Liz miserable while I complained about everything and how my life has gone and not even considering anything about her and her feelings. Just, you know, why me, you know, she's had to deal with this for 6 years, and I've been dealing with it for 2, and I'm like a little crybaby. And I told her I'm gonna leave. You know, I just keep threatening to leave, and like that's gonna change anything. You know, just like I just want to get away. Like I don't want to have to deal with all the stuff that comes with this. I'm dealing with all the financial stuff, all the emotional stress, all the everything. I don't know why life can't just be simple. Why can't it go back to just being just easy and the stress. It's these our girls, our triplets, Sarah, everything. It's gonna be like this, and it's probably always gonna be like this. I mean, we can make it better, but I don't know.
I was upstairs looking at Zoe, and all of a sudden I had this whole sinking sensation. I felt like the world was moving past me really fast, and George was looking at me, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I haven't dealt with any of this stuff. I've just been moving distraction to distraction, and I need to get out of here." And he said, "Well, where do you want to go?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I just need to drive." And he handed me the keys and the credit card, and I put some clothes in a pillowcase, and I left. I thought, I'll just drive out I-10, I don't know, just see what I see. And it's so funny, like people think about going on vacation and seeing things and having experiences. But for me, like the most enjoyable part of all of it was if I had to pee, I peed. If I wanted to read something, I read something. If I wanted to smoke a cigarette, I smoked a cigarette.
Freedom.
There was no, I got to make sure this one's eaten and this one's taking their cochlear implant off and this is broken and I've got to look for this part and someone's knocked their eyeball out and I've got to find that. I mean, it was just whatever I needed, I could take care of when I wanted. And it was also the first time that I've been alone with myself. Everything's, I think we've been really honest with each other and we know where our problems are coming from, and I think we've both owned up to a lot of things. And we're moving forward, and I think we're going to work all this out. We just need to take more time for each other and ourselves somehow.
The family wasn't used to exposure. They had protected themselves from the public eye. But all that was about to change. Dr. Phil wanted to enable the family to work out their issues and begin the journey of repairing and strengthening their relationship. What was about to happen would change everything for the family.
George and Liz say taking care of their triplets is a thankless 24-hour-a-day job. They just say it's never ending.
We're at our friends, the Nelsons' home, watching the Dr. Phil show. This is our big debut. And so far, so good.
I just worry. I just want them to feel what I feel for them and just know that I'm going to take the best care of them that I can.